Welcome to Firearms of America. Today, as you guys can see, I have another pair of Bates boots for a review. Kind of excited, haven't had Bates on this channel for a while. So, these are obviously tactical. Another tactical pair of boots from Bates. Cold Rush Mid Tactical boot. And let me tell you guys, overall, if you don't have time to watch the whole review, the whole 10 minutes of the review, overall I do like them. They are fairly comfortable, very lightweight, feel very light on your feet. You can run, you can jump, do whatever you want. They don't restrict your movement pretty much at all. And they are currently $100 on Amazon. The link is in the description below if you want to check it out. But if you do have time to watch the whole review, let's get into it. So, as some of you already know, this review is specifically for my ultimate survival boots section. Basically, if these were the last boots that you put on and something bad happened, and natural disaster, war, riot, whatever, and 2020 can give you a lot of ideas for survival situations, right? And these were the boots that you were wearing. Would they be good for your survival? Would they help you? So how do we make the judgment? We'll make the judgment based on 8 different criteria. Let's get into it. Criteria number 1, of course, the comfort level. And in order to test the comfort level of all my boots on this channel, I do a 3-mile run, then a 5-mile walk without stopping. Total wear time of the boot, I don't take it off, about 7 to 8 hours. So, like I said, overall, I do like the comfort level of these boots. There are a few factors that contribute to it. Number 1, of course, is the weight. And let's see exactly how heavy these boots are or how light they are. This is size 10. And as you can see, 13.1. Very, very impressive. Now, to give you kind of a reference point, right? I usually say on this channel, if you want the boots that you can run in for extended periods of time without, getting tired too much, walk for very long, stuff like that, you want something that is under 20 ounce per boot. That would be considered light and you can run for extended periods of time, without putting too much stress on your ankles, on your knees, because whenever you get tired during running, you start running improperly and then you put some unnecessary stress on the ankles, on the knees. These boots are obviously well over under 20 ounce. There are a few other factors that contribute to the comfort level. Number 2, of course, is the inner sole. Let me take it out, show it off so you have the idea of what it is. As you can see, it is very nicely shaped. There is a heel bed, which I do like. I prefer these way more than the flat inner soles. This one's much better, holds your foot in place, especially whenever you're running. It definitely helps. And there is a decent amount of cushioning here as well. But here's the thing, this is not the only cushioning that you get. You also have another layer of very jelly surface on the inside of the boot, and that helps a lot. Now, whenever I say jelly, it really is definitely nice and jelly. I do like it a lot. Probably the best part about this boot is the inner sole and the combination of that extra layer of cushioning. Pretty good. Now, overall, whenever it comes to cushioning, of course, you probably already noticed there's decent amount of cushioning here on in the ankles, a little bit on the tongue, not as much as on the ankle, which is fine, still comfortable. And of course, because the material that the boots are made of is very light, practically non-existent, definitely feels very comfortable as well. Of course, your outsole, as you can see, is very flexible, and that contributes to the comfort level as well. The only thing that takes away from the comfort level is this boots, because there is really not much going on here in the toe box. You really do need to get the right size boots for you, and make sure that they do fit you perfectly, because if you do get a little bit smaller, if your toe is kind of touching and rubbing here, you get fatigued pretty quickly. Keep that in mind. Okay, so let's move on to the criteria number 2, proofing and protection. So whenever it comes to the proofing, these boots are not waterproof. As you can see, this material is so light you can practically see. Yep, you can see through it. Not practically, you can actually see through it. Not much of the protection, obviously, as well, because Again, material is very light. There is some design going here over the toe. Kind of looks like it offers some kind of protection, but really, really nothing. It's very, very soft. Keep that in mind. You do have that cushioning in the shaft, so that adds up a little bit of protection. Again, not much, nothing sufficient, and the heel is reinforced just as in most of the boots. I do have to mention that the outsole, this very, very thin layer on the outsole, is very hard rubber, so if you step on something sharp, more or less, nothing like a nail of course, but more or less like on a rocky road, for example, you will be protected for the most part. Okay, so let's move on to the criteria number 3, quality and design features. Now Bates, of course, they have been one of the top choices for security officers, for law enforcement, people in surface. So people do know about this boot a lot. And of course, because this is a newer boot, there's not a lot of reviews currently on Amazon. The link is in the description below if you want to check it out. But over 50 reviews and almost 5 stars. So people do like these boots overall. Now, whenever it comes to the design features, I usually talk about the lacing system. There is really not much going on here, just your very, very basic material hooks here, and they're just really not even through the fabric kind of holes on the top. I kind of wish that there were open hooks, because I think they just are a little bit more practical and make it a little bit easier to take the boots off and put them on. But again, overall not too bad, and of course using the fabric materials, it contributes to the lightness of the boot, so not that bad at all. Let's move on to the criteria number 4, which is the outsole, traction and stability. Now this is where I think Bates could have done a little bit of a better job. Overall, the outsole is pretty good because it's very flexible, and because this harder layer of rubber gives you some protection. But whenever it comes to traction and stability, I think Bates could have done a better job. This outsole is not very practical overall. The only surface more or less that it would handle pretty good is the sandy surface, like wet sand or dry sand, because it has a decent amount of flatness. I think Bates could have implemented slip resistance here on this outsole because it is so flat. However, it really was not implemented, and these boots, they are definitely slippery on flat surfaces like marble and tile. Keep that in mind. And they don't perform very well on surfaces like grass, like wet grass. They're pretty slippery. Of course, not even worth mentioning ice and snow, because these are not winter boots. There is no insulation, they're not waterproof. But again, if you are wondering, this is not going to be the outsole you want to try on snow or ice. Not very good. Keep that in mind. So let's move on to the criteria number 5, temperature. Now I test on most of my boots that are designed for hot temperatures in Florida. Very hot, almost 100 degrees weather, running in it. Did not overheat at all. Very light, very breathable boot, so in that department, very good. Again, not really a winter boot, so not really worth mentioning about the cold temperatures, because these are practically transparent, no insulation, not waterproof. Keep that in mind. But in the hot temperatures, this is the boot that you might want to look at, because it is just so light. Practically you're not wearing anything whenever you're wearing these boots. So let's move on to the criteria number 6, which is sizing. These boots do run a little bit on the smaller size. Whenever it comes to all boots, hiking boots, tactical boots, military boots, I do recommend my viewers to get a half a size bigger than your regular shoe size, so you have a little bit of that extra in the toe box. Helps whenever you're running, whenever you're walking, especially down the hill. Really prevents a lot of unnecessary fatigue. Just a good recommendation that I got from one of my more experienced hiking friends. Keep that in mind. They do run a little bit on the smaller side, so here instead of a half a size bigger, I would recommend getting a whole size bigger. So let's move on to the criterion number 7, which is the balance of application. So basically, if this really was the very last boot that you put on and something bad happened, would this be a good boot? I think if you live in a hot climate like myself in Florida, and you plan your survival in a hot climate like Florida, and you prefer lightness over protection, you don't really care about waterproofing that much, you You'd rather have something that dries quicker on your feet. I think overall you would like this boot. Obviously, if you get them in the right size, and obviously if this type of the toe box fits you, right? Overall, pretty good. But like I said, I think Bates could have done a better job with the outsole, just to give you a little bit more of you know, traction and stability on more of a variety of surfaces. I think they could have done a better job. So if you're only looking for something that performs well on sandy surfaces, or surfaces that you don't really need that much of control on your movement, like for example tarmac or asphalt, you will be pretty good. However, if you're looking for something that performs good on a lot of different surfaces, or specifically on surfaces like marble and tile, this might not be the boot for you. And the very last criterion is the price. Of course, like I said in the beginning, these boots are $100 currently on Amazon. The link is in the description below. There are 3 color variations that are available, so the price is going to be different. So if you want to check it out, just click on the link below and you will be able to tell how much they are, because prices can vary based on the color, based on the size. This particular one, black, size 10, $100. I think it's a fair price overall. However, I think there's a lot of other competition in that price range, specifically stuff like, for example, Under Armour Valsats, Under Armour Stellar Tack, Denier, Tachyon. They are very, very competitive. They do offer the same lightness, comfort. Some of them even do offer more of a protection and proofing. So keep that in mind. If you are interested in lightweight tactical boots, I would recommend checking out those boots as well. I have the reviews on this channel. So thank you very much guys for watching. Let me know what you think about those boots. If you have any comments, any requests, drop them in the comments below and I'll be happy to address those. This was Firearms of America, and I'll see you guys in the next video.